Hi everyone, I hope everybody are doing good. Today we are going to discuss about the concept called as ArgoCD. So in this session, we are going to discuss about what is the advantage of Argo continuous delivery and why industrialist has been using more in terms of continuous deployment and why ArgoCD got famous and widely used tool in terms of Kubernetes deployment. So let's see and stay tuned end of this session. You'll get to know about the entire ArgoCD usage and why it is widely used in current market. And before that, I would like to explain a problem statement that we have currently with a CI/CD tool such as Jenkins, GitLab, and we have Azure DevOps. So I would like to take you a session of both. One is a problem statement, and another one is a solution with the ArgoCD. So let's see. The first one is a problem that the current DevOps pipelines have been facing. So here we have a developer and he pushes the source code into GitHub. So if you are using container-based deployment, so mostly and usually you do use source code along with your Docker files and your Kubernetes manifest file. So here, developer has pushes his source code into GitHub, and usually this GitHub repository has connected with a CI/CD tool such as Jenkins or GitLab or Azure DevOps. So this CI/CD tool get pull the all the source code and it can build it and it create a Docker image and it pushes it to the image registry such as let's say example we have too many image registers. So widely used is let's example is a Docker Hub. So where we keep all our images. So here I'm going to write it down. So here the GitHub is a where we store all the source code, and CI/CD is a tool where it used for building your image. So CI/CD tool has build image. So it is pushes to the image registry. So it's a image registry. So from here, what it is does, Jenkins itself is going to take all the manifest files from GitHub, and it is going to apply on the Kubernetes. So here, whatever manifest file that you have keep in your GitHub repository, it is going to take all the manifest file and it will apply into the Kubernetes cluster. So here we have a Kubernetes cluster, and it has applied. So you can ask me, hey, everything seems to be fine, and this CI/CD tool is going to take all the manifest file that you have declared over here, whether it is a deployment file or service file or config map secrets. What's the problem? So the problem here it is right, if we have Kubernetes cluster has been hosting in cloud or on-premise data center, whatever it may be. So you need to configure the configuration in between your cluster and in between your Jenkins tool. So that's a major issue over here. And the second thing, if we have n number of clusters, so this example here we have one cluster, and if we have another 10 cluster, so you need to make a configurations of either it may be a sensitive information such as username and passwords, and you need to do such a type of configuration in between the cluster and the Jenkins tool. And again, let's take example. Whenever you are copying the manifest file from GitHub, and the CI/CD tool has to be run the kubectl. So the kubectl command has to be run over here. And let's example, you have hundreds of files over here, and it is going to take the hundreds of files. It will apply on the Kubernetes cluster. So the problem here is like every time whenever the Kubernetes deployment is going to happen, it take the sensitive information over here. It's related to the cluster. So let's example username and password. So we have a cluster, and this CI/CD tool, let's example Jenkins, is going to do the deployment of our manifest file. It will take the sensitive information that we have kept here with the Jenkins, the Jenkins configuration, and it will apply it. So it's not a good practice keeping all your sensitive information with the Jenkins, which is related to the Kubernetes cluster, because of in a Kubernetes cluster, you may have a number of services has been hosting. And we have a concept called as namespace, which is isolating your set of service that you declared, either irrespective of stack, maybe a dev, test, and production. So that is the issue current all the industry has been facing, which means related to making a conversation or making a connection between the Kubernetes cluster and Jenkins is a kind of tedious task. So that's where ArgoCD here has came into the market, and it has resolved such a complicated issue. So the CI part is completely same, which means like here there is a developer, he pushes the source code into the GitHub. So source code contains the images, Docker file where our CI/CD tool is going to convert as image, and it has all the Kubernetes manifest file. And here CI/CD tool is going to build the code, and it will build the image, and it will push us to the image registry. So same thing. So CA part is same for both deployments, but where it is make a difference. So difference is here, by using ArgoCD, Argo continuous deployment tool. So you are not going to make a conversation between your CI/CD like Jenkins to Kubernetes cluster. So in between you are going to place a tool which is going to take care of all the deployments. So where you are going to place this tool, the particular area. So the area is not in between this GitHub CI/CD Jenkins or any other place. So this ArgoCD tool is going to install on your Kubernetes cluster, either irrespective of namespace. So you are going to install ArgoCD over here on a Kubernetes cluster. ArgoCD. So you have installed your ArgoCD on Kubernetes cluster, and later you are going to specify, hey ArgoCD. So I'm going to make a connection between the GitHub repository where I have stored all my source code along with the Docker file and the Kubernetes manifest file. So you are going to make a conversation between or connection between GitHub and the ArgoCD like this. So, and you're going to tell to the ArgoCD, hey ArgoCD, I have placed all my images in Docker Hub, where you can go and get or pull the latest images from the particular image registry. So you're going to make a connection between the ArgoCD and the image registry, such as Docker Hub. So you have to make a connection in between those two tools. Fine. So you have installed ArgoCD on Kubernetes cluster, and you have make a connection between ArgoCD to your GitHub, where you have specified all your manifest file, and you have made a connection between your image registry and the ArgoCD. So fine. So how this ArgoCD is going to work on, I'm going to tell you. So ArgoCD is here on your Kubernetes cluster. It is going to watch your GitHub repository 24/7. Is there any small commit has happened? It is going to get your manifest file that you have specified on this particular root path. It is going to take that all the manifest file and is going to apply in your Kubernetes. And it is going to take the latest image from the image registry wherever you have specified. So that's what. So when compared to the normal Jenkins deployment into Kubernetes and ArgoCD deployment, here in a CI/CD of Jenkins, you are going to specify all the sensitive information of Kubernetes, and you need to keep add on all the cluster informations, everything on Jenkins. But here with ArgoCD, you're not specifying any way about your Kubernetes cluster information. So you just have installed ArgoCD on top of Kubernetes, and this ArgoCD tool, you are going to tell to ArgoCD tool saying that, hey ArgoCD, I have a GitHub repository has placed on over here, and this is my URL. Keep watch my GitHub repository 24/7. Is there any small commit has happened? Just take the manifest file from GitHub and apply on my Kubernetes cluster. And this ArgoCD tool watches the image registry such as Docker Hub 24/7. So it is going to pull the image from the image registry, and it pull the latest manifest file from the GitHub, and it will apply in Kubernetes cluster. So that's a major advantage with ArgoCD. And this ArgoCD, it gets synced with GitHub whenever a small commit has happened. And the disadvantage with the normal Jenkins deployment is that Jenkins deployment is going to apply all the manifest files from GitHub, and it will apply in Kubernetes cluster. That's fine. But in Jenkins, you cannot see whether your pods has healthy condition, or it is going to be terminated, or it's going to be restored. So that is also one kind of major thing where you cannot see on Jenkins. But when it comes to ArgoCD, ArgoCD has amazing UI. So with the UI, you can see how many parts are running, and what is your deployment status, and what is your service exposes, and what is the health condition of all the pods, and what is the health state of controllers. So these all are things you can watch on ArgoCD UI. So that's what the major usage of Argo CD, and that's where in the current market everybody are using Argo CD, and there is a huge demand for Argo CD if you are working on Kubernetes, a developer or administrator. And I can say along with Argo CD we have Flux CD also. So Argo CD and Flux CD are both from GitOps. So it has developed by GitOps, and CNC Cloud Foundation has given it as a open source. So you can use Argo CD, and you can install in your Kubernetes cluster, and you can use it as a continuous deployment tool for simplified all the issues. And that's what Argo CD has resolved such a complicated issues, keeping all your sensitive information or your cluster information, whatever it may be, with your CI/CD tool. And that's where Argo CD came into picture, and it is saying that, hey, don't keep all your sensitive information with the CI/CD tool. Just install Argo CD and Kubernetes. Just make a conversation between your GitHub and with the image registry. I'm going to pull all the manifest file from GitHub, and I will pull all the latest images from image registry and apply in Kubernetes cluster. So that is what Argo CD has simplified in the current market. I hope it's clear for everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop in comment section, and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.